Today I am making carameled apples from scratch. The caramel just takes a few ingredients. So heavy cream, sugar, sweetened condensed milk, karo syrup, and vanilla extract. Let's get started. Okay, I have a large kettle here. I'm gonna start by adding 2 cups of granulated sugar and then 2 cups of karo syrup. And this is just over warm. I'm gonna turn it up to 200 and get all of the sugar melted into the karo syrup. Just stirring it to combine so that the sugar can get mixed in with that karo syrup. Then over here I have an induction top, which is just like a stove top, and a saucepan of water. I'm gonna create a double broiler to heat up the cream and the sweetened condensed milk so that when I add it to the caramel, it doesn't shock the hot caramel sauce, because I'm gonna slowly be adding this heavy cream, sweetened condensed milk mixture into the caramelized sugar. I'm gonna throw in 6 cups of heavy whipping cream. And then sweetened condensed milk. I was reading the brand, but you can use any type of sweetened condensed milk will work. And we're just gonna pour in half of it. This is something that you can totally eyeball, but just about half of it. And then that will be warming up as our sugar mixture melts. This sugar and karo syrup mixture has gotten to a boil. It's reached a boil. My heavy cream and sweetened condensed milk are all warm and ready to meet. So every 5 minutes, I'm going to pour in about 1/2 cup of the heavy cream mixture. And I'm going to stir it in and then let it cook for an additional 5 minutes. This way, I am cooling down my sugar mixture as it's caramelizing, and I am able to get a really deep caramel color. Sugar has 0 flavor unless it is caramelized. So by deep caramelization, getting that really deep, dark caramel color, you're getting a very flavorful caramel. It's been 5 minutes, so I'm gonna add another 1/2 cup of the heavy cream mixture to the caramel mixture. You can see that it is not very caramelized yet. It's just like a tan color. But then I'm gonna cook it for another 5 minutes and come back, and you're gonna see it start to transform. It's been 5 minutes, so I'm gonna add another 1/2 cup of the heavy cream mixture to the caramel mixture. You can see that the caramel mixture is not very caramelized yet. It's tan, it's not brown. But we're gonna cool it down, and we're gonna let it cook another 5 minutes. We're gonna come back and add more cream. Doing this process over and over again will yield a very deep colored caramel that tastes so delicious. But because we are slowly adding the cream into the sugar, it does take about an hour to 2 hours, depending on your climate and how much humidity you have, how hot it is that day. But it can take up to 2 hours to reach that full caramel color and temperature. Another 5 minutes have passed. It's hard to tell from the angle that the camera is, but the cream mixture is coming up high. And the more that I add to the caramel mixture is coming up high. The more cream that I add to the caramel mixture, the more bubbles and condensation and boiling will happen. Candy can double when it is boiling. So that's one reason you want a very large pot to do your candy in. I know a lot of people will have problems making candy at home because it will boil over and maybe ruin their stovetop. So that's one reason why I really enjoy making my candy in this kettle, because it's so large. It's a 10-quart kettle, so it doesn't boil over. So here is the cream added into the caramel mixture. You can tell the color is getting darker. It's a slow process, but it is definitely darkening. We are starting to see a lot more caramelization of the sugar. And again, it's been another 5 minutes, so we're gonna add that cream to cool it down and stir it in. Okay, another 5 minutes has passed. You can see it's getting a lot darker compared to the start when it was just tan. We're gonna add the cream and stir it in. We're getting really close to the end where we can just throw in that candy thermometer and let it get to the soft ball stage. It is time to pour the last bit of caramel. Can't use my measuring cup anymore, it's so low. Into, sorry, the last bit of cream, not caramel, into the caramel. And stir it in. You can totally see a difference between when we started and now when all of the cream is added, but we're not done here. We have to add a candy thermometer and get it to the softball stage, which is 234 degrees, before it is at the right texture to be that chewy, soft caramel that holds together. Right now, if you removed it, it would be more like a caramel sauce and it would never get thickened. Here is the caramel, and I'm gonna add my digital thermometer and leave it in and so that I know when it hits 234 degrees. At that point, I will take it off the heat as quickly as possible and add vanilla extract so that it doesn't go over. With candy, going over just a degree, a couple degrees can totally change the texture, and we don't want it to be hard. So getting it in here, stirring it up so that it gets an accurate read. It looks like currently it is at already 210 degrees. So we have about 20 degrees left to go, 24 degrees. And that can take a while depending on just how humid it is or dry it is and what the temperature is. Right now I have it at 250 degrees, and I'm gonna leave it there and let it sit and get up to that soft ball stage. It has reached the temperature, so I hurry and take it off the heat. And then I'm going to add some vanilla extract, which will quickly cool it down. And then it will be ready for some apples. Okay, now we're ready to dip the apples in the caramel. Well, the caramel was boiling. I was washing all of these apples and sticking these apple sticks in the apples, but being sure not to stick all the way through because you don't want it punctured all the way through. And you're gonna just dip it in all over and shake off any excess caramel, and then set them to the side to set and dry. Now that all the carameled apples are dipped, we can decorate them. So I've melted some chocolate. I like to use compound chocolate because then you don't have to temper the chocolate. And then I'll get this spoon out of the way. You just dip it in the chocolate. I like to get the chocolate and the caramel all the way up to seal the top of the apple. That will just preserve the apple a little bit better so that it's more shelf stable. Then, of course, you can top with some toppings. One of my favorite apples is the apple pie apple, which is white chocolate with cinnamon and sugar. So dip it in some white chocolate and then shake off the excess. And then dip it in that powdered sugar, or that cinnamon sugar, not powdered sugar. and then let them sit and dry.